Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you get to this. Uh, doing a basic like Sunday chat. That's pretty much gonna be like an expound, old school type, only you know, not an expound. Um, it's different when anybody can just hop in there and just kind of say their own 2 cent and drag my mind off task. Um, just come talk about stuff. Uh, I probably have like five different things I'm gonna bounce around between. Um, they're not really outlined. What up? You're so funny. when do you? When are you off work? What hours don't you work on Sunday? But uh, but no. Just a basic Sunday chat. I got a few things I want to talk about. The first of which is just false representation. Um, I think a lot of times when we see TV via either the internet or just the regular cable television you might have in your home. I don't have cable, but I'm just being I guess presumptuous. But saying that um, 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 there's no representation for people that look like us. And I'm not attacking a guy, let's say like J. Cole. Okay, okay, I'll figure something out, man, and we'll and then sometime this week I'll make a little adjustment. Right on, bro. I got you. So but yeah, so false representation. Uh guy like a J. Cole or how you doing, Felicia? What up? Or a guy like a Drake or a Chris Brown, who because of ideologies that one drop of the blood of a Negro automatically makes you black, whatever that's supposed to mean, whatever that's supposed to be. Um, I think what people are overlooking is that they don't represent you fully to your struggle. The people that were getting bit by dogs and sprayed with fire hydrants didn't look like Jermaine Cole. No, they looked like Demetrius Antoine Jones. So I have a hard time allowing a person who is getting paid only to speak words to be my representative, and they don't even actually look like me. And the media and I guess you could kind of say the people who are who also are involved on this level, they allow this because they promote this too in their own sense. Um, when you're not being represented based on who you are, it's really hard for people to understand your story, your struggle. Prime example, um, I deal with a lot of white people. I live in a state that's predominantly white, just like a lot of other people do. But in this state in particular, there's a lot of what you would call so-called educated people, and a lot of times you'll find yourself at odds with these people because for how smart or how informed they're supposed to be, they're not informed at all. They don't know anything at all. Um, a diuretic is pretty much a water pill in so many words. They have other kinds of but mainly diuretics act as an agent to make you urinate. Now, this could be for a plethora of reasons why a doctor would give you a diuretic. This guy said he was a pharmacist. Tells me, and the reason why I'm talking about this is because a guy like Robinson Cano Once again, who's also not, I don't give a damn how black he look. He doesn't represent us. You understand? Because his struggle is that of a Dominican American, or you know what I'm saying? It's not of a real true my people were slaves in this country, not slaves in another country type diaspora or mindset. And and you know, he's been accused of using steroids. You know, there's nothing wrong with water pills. Don't make a face. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If there's something wrong when a white man believes that just because a guy was taking water pills, that all of a sudden he's using steroids and you know, and he's juicing. And then, you know, and this goes back to representation, where Robinson Cano actually looks like a black person. He still does not represent black people. You know, how you doing, Caribbean Hebrew? Greetings, sister. Um, I think it's well, I'm gonna pray for you, sister, regardless. But I'm just saying that to have the pills is not that's not the worst thing. That's not, you know, that doesn't condemn you. You know, not obviously not in my book. You know, even though this guy Robinson Cano does not, he is not a representative of the black community. If anything, uh, yes, but we as a people have to really come to a conclusion. Like, what do we want to represent us? Um, I'll take another example, prime one, a movie like Black Panther, where it is representation of what's the word of Africans. Now, before I cut off into this other part that I'm doing, because Brother Lamont Sims had brought it to my attention whew, earlier this week, maybe even the beginning of the week. He's pretty much just asking me like, how did I know for a fact what the people look like? And well, there's two ways that I know for a fact what they did not look like. If the rules that are written within the book go a certain way, then I would have to believe that those rules support, well, a certain kinds of people. Uh, point point to fashion real quick, you know, without getting too held down within the Bible. Number one, and I repeat, and I cannot stress this enough. If there was a tribe within the peoples who were not fully bearded, this would have been annotated within the rules. I think it would have said something like, if one grows a beard, do not shave. Not telling you not to shave your beard. As in a matter of a fact, if you're one of these people, you're surely bearded. And this goes back into representation. Because how is a person who doesn't look like the people, who's supposed to be the people, if I'm the people and you don't look anything like me, how can you represent me? Once again, this all of it lies together, all of it ties together, all of it is going to marry up, as my UK brethren would say. And I'm gonna call and check on him later too. But I uh, I don't like the way that we're represented. Um, I don't like the fact that I don't like the fact that if you present a black man as hyper vigilant or hypersexual, right on, pretty much anything hyper with a negative connotation where you can't actually see the actions to judge it yourself, and and no, I think the point of mixing, sister, is to eradicate us from the planet altogether. I think it's something far more sinister than mixing. I mean, it's than to hide our image. Far more sinister than that. Far more sinister. You have people who can grow beards who are not the people, who kind of sort of look like the people. You know, once again, there's still not representation. they're still not the people. Um, uh, Case in point, and I can't stress this. I can't stress this enough. There's to me, it's not a double. Once again, if they follow the rules, how is it a double-edged sword? You get what I'm saying? If they break those rules, they're fucked. It's really that simple. Thank you. That's all it is, sister. It's wrong. At the end of the day, it's just wrong. You know. You know what I call mixed children? I call mixed children abominations. It's that simple. A mule between a horse and a donkey is an abomination. The only difference between the human being, so-called human abominations, and that animal abomination, right, is that that animal is made fertile, and its imperfection. I know we don't listen. But that's what I'm saying though. It's not about what the people don't do. You see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna placate the people. That those are excuses. I don't live in those. I don't give those to them. If I'm gonna hold a man accountable, I'm gonna hold the woman accountable the same charge I hold the man. So to give the people, man or woman, on any level, the idea that, okay, well, we just don't listen, we're hard-headed. That's not going to save them from judgment. That's not going to secure salvation because of the ignorance. So when you're talking about people who are hard-headed, iron nude, brass brow, you know what I mean, brazen forehead, all that stuff. So, and the stiff neck, you can't forget the stiff neck. Even when you throw all that stuff in there together, all those people still acted a certain way and still did things a certain way. It's all about genetic constitution. We have to remember, biblically speaking, all the people we're reading about are black people. Unless you're talking about Gentiles, where even then, when you're talking about Gentiles, you have to know what kind of Gentile you're talking about. I'm not going to get carried away there. I'm just going to bounce from thing to thing to thing, and then I'll come back to them as they all make sense. Another thing I want to talk about is super honky syndrome. And I'm going to do a video. I don't know if I'm going to live stream it on this one or not, but I got to do a thing about super honky. And it's dangerous. I'm going to tell you the dangers of super honky. He or she has the ability to get black people to want to kill each other. You see what I'm saying? Whether they're the same, whether they are the same genetic people or not, they have the ability to make darker skinned people of melanin or hue, whatever you want to say. They have that ability to make people kill each other on that level. So much so that whatever prize it is that Super Honky puts out there for all of his faithful do-gooders, they eat it up. They eat it up. And for a chance to fit in, not just to what the people call dominant society, but just for a chance to fit in. No, correction, DeClean Thomas. Gentiles are black, still are black. There's still many black Gentiles running around right now. A whole heap of them. Whole heap. Masquerading. And they're good at it. They're good at it. They are the best. But how you doing, Sister Thomas? Regardless of that. These are dangerous times for black people. These are very dangerous times. And once again, y'all ain't never heard no term like super honky. I know you haven't, because most black people are too dabbered down to even talk like that. I tell this kind of stuff to white people to their faces. So it's not a big deal. I'm excellent. Everything is fine. Everything is going just good. Everything is copacetic. Everything is copacetic. Just talking to y'all about what it is that we should all know for a fact is true. Um, did y'all, once again, and I'm gonna go right back to Super Hunky because this is part of Super Hunky. See, Super Hunky's so cold, right? That because they run everything. Thank you, sister. I appreciate that because they're in charge of everything. Let's use, for example, YouTube, right? For a long time, I could follow my analytics. One moment. For a long time, I could follow my analytics and I would almost actually believe them. Now, I couldn't tell you what to believe because when I look at it, large swaths of the information uh, go against what it is that I'm seeing. If we look at one part of the information, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can pull a little this, a little that. Moment. I'm just gonna try to share this page and this overview, and you guys tell me what you think. You know, 1 moment. So you guys can see it. What I'm asking you is this, though. You see this part right here? We're not even gonna worry about anything else. It says, this is the overview. So don't understand, this is just basic analytics. It says gender right here. It says 100% of my viewers are men. I know how. Listen, right now, I think everybody here but one person is a woman. Can you dig it? So that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. Where, like, even on a place like YouTube, if they're willing to not show you it says 100% here. I don't know how true any of these other analytics. I don't know. Once again, I've never come right out and accused YouTube of viewer suppression, but I know for a fact they've suppressed my. I know for a fact they have. Very, 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 very peculiar. You know. I mean, if y'all don't think that's peculiar, then sure, I'm not gonna talk about it. But you know, I mean, I think it's just a little weird that my analytics say 100% men. Everybody listening is a man. Everybody. But it's always like this. Like every once in a while, it'll change to like 100% woman, 100% female. You know what I mean? I'm like, how is this? What the fuck is going on? And you guys got to understand, I'm talking about probably the most unpopular thing right now. Because yeah, anybody could talk about the Most High. Anybody can jabber jaw about things that are already well established. I believe that people are very willing to overlook what is wrong, you know, because it doesn't affect them. They always downplay views, but it just depends on what you're talking about, you know. I really believe that the one video that I have, you know, that I can actually say was like kind of a little hit is the Pacific and the Angel DNA. I'm quite sure that video was never meant to make it. It's not supposed to have almost 50,000 views. It's not. None of my look, the the Hickses, and the Hebrews, that video is not supposed to have almost 7,000 views. You feel what I'm saying? So I know, and I'm not putting fancy titles on any of this, you know. So if I have a video that's named and I know that the words that are in another video are much more naturally strung together, than the words that I use in another video, but somehow the obscure words or this obscure video is somehow found outside of the fact that most of the videos I make don't have standalone titles. So that's another reason why I don't get a lot of views. And I know this for a fact. So I always find it weird that once again, that every once in a while I'll make something that I don't think that they can suppress. Like it does well enough for them not to be able to suppress it. I made the Pacific and the Angel DNA in 2016, y'all, at the very end of the year. What's weird about that is is the video didn't get views until we're talking like months later. Months later, it it picked up traction, and I thought that was the weirdest thing because that's not what happens. Of course, y'all, of course, I have to keep pushing, but I mean, uh, it's not even like it's discouraging. It's just when you're aware of that, you can only be so invested. You see what I'm saying? Uh, uh, I'm not spewing the typical hatred that other people have, vitriol, whatever you want to say, towards the situation. I'm not. I don't give any of the same kind of energy. I think I might speak some of the same words, but truthfully speaking, I'm actually I could not care less about what another race of people thinks. I don't care. You know, I don't really care what most black people think. So there's no way I care what another race of people think. And and once again, this just goes back to black people and how they want to be represented. I would like to represent our people the way that I act all the time. You know, um, I act this way because this is Demetrius. This is the most honest version of Mr. Jones you're gonna get. And and you know, there's too many people who are who are generic. You know, there's a lot of generic fake people in the world. Um, and then once again, just as a black man, I can't stress this enough. To my sisters, what is happening right now, you're gonna start to notice a lot of everybody's been talking about all of these guys want to go their own way, make cow nonsense. Once again, that's not representation of the black man. That's not representation of my people. Anytime the white man can come and become a part of what it is that a black man is talking about, I want nothing to do with that movement. Anytime a white man can come and become the face of the movement, whether if he's already the face, I want nothing to do with it anyway. Right on. But I want nothing to do with the movement that would allow a person who has views and cultural ideas that are fucking diametrically opposed to me as a person. I'm not gonna do that. You know. And once again, you have too many black people who are there for any form of so-called representation. They'll take it. Me and Andre Wickham were talking about how greetings, sister, greetings. Me and Andre Wickham were speaking on how once again, said rappers, let's say a guy like J. Cole, right? He could throw, it's okay for J. Cole to throw Eminem under the bus for being white and using rap music, but it's not okay for, let's say, I guess an actual black man, let's say, to come at J. Cole and be like, well, really, you're not even black though, bro. Really, you're mixed. You see what I'm saying? And people be like, well, oh, no. One drop of black blood makes you black. And because people have this mentality, okay, as opposed to looking with their two eyes and saying, if they don't look like me, they're not me. How hard is that? How much more simple do you think that is? How much more basic is that? You know, and because you have these people who are, overtly willing to allow the guy with good hair to be their rep, or the chick with good hair to be their rep, so-called good hair, because I believe my hair is excellent, excelente. It was never our rule. It was never our rule. And if you guys understand what I'm saying about black people all not being genetically the same, do you see the problem with the one drop of Negro blood makes you a Negro? If we're all not the same black people, that one drop of whatever blood makes you that whatever else that is. It doesn't make you just a black person. And because once again, there's this mentality. But worse though, worse than that are the placators of these people, guys who get behind a guy like J. Cole and be like, "Man, bro, he's representing for black people." And how is he representing for black people? You know, name 10 songs that are black people struggle songs by J. Cole, because J. Cole is all inclusive because he got a white mama, so he's always going to be all inclusive. All these dudes that don't have black parents all the way out are going to be all inclusive, because guess what? There was black people that they dealt with more than likely in their life who were not all inclusive towards them. So they want to do what blacks nor whites have ever done, which is accept them, right? But that's the issue, is that you're accepting people who you would not normally accept. That's funny, Caribbean Hebrew. That's funny. But you know what though? See where you live, right? They can they can talk like that to you, and there's not the same buildup of people who don't want to be African anymore. You know, not to say that some people, once again, to be part Hamitic is nothing. To be considered a Middle Earther, I take offense to. Okay, so talking to you, Miss Felicia, now I'm gonna address you real quick. So if you know, I'm not sure which grandfather is half white, and if the half white is a white man's half white or a white woman's half white. But I'm just gonna let you know right now, if that's on your father's side, and that's a white grandfather, essentially, because that man has a white father, then that makes no offense to you. Technically, okay, that's on your mom. Okay, right on. Right. So then your mom, but is the person though? Your grandfather is half white. I understand that. So the mom is white of the grandfather, sister. I'm trying to understand. So that way I don't put my own foot in my own mouth. But if you're saying that the mom of the grandfather is white, then right, that's just once again, that's still a maternal connection. But that to me, that's not a deal breaker. The deal breaker is when a guy tells me, right. So what is your dad then? Because if your dad is black, then I don't, you know, like if you come from like a strong line of black people, and they've been black all before that, and all of a sudden you got mixed up because of 2 generations ago, nothing you can really do about that. There's nothing. Once again, there's nothing people can do about being mixed. There's you can't change that. That is what the fuck it is. I have a roommate. Okay, this dude has thicker skin than anybody I know. Because I talk about these subjects right in front of him. Does Jeff get angry, make noise, and try to hate on the videos? No, no, he does not. He does player shit. He sits there and he just kicks it, chills, and listen. He hears the same shit that you guys hear. So when I bring up Middle Earth Gentiles, right on, does he get all up in arms? No, because he understands that where my understanding is coming from. I know that all people walking around on this planet right now are part Middle Earther. You know, all people walking around right now, if they try to tell you that, oh, I'm full Adamite, they're the stupidest person on earth. Yeah, he's listening right now because he's grown. He can do that. You're so funny. All y'all are funny. He laughs. He laughs as I bring it up. This is the truth, though. So, but once again, though, he identifies as being Thai. I know he would not like it if he turned on the TV or whatever. They say hello, Jeff.
What's up, y'all?
He says hello back. Just in case y'all didn't hear him. But but he would not like it. He would not appreciate it if he turned on the TV and the person who was representing the ties. Now understand, bro's mixed. I'm sure if he identifies as being Thai and turned on the TV and then seen a full blown white guy where he's like, damn, this dude looks hella white, playing a Thai, understand that's reason to feel some type of way. Even if I'm not full of people, if I identify as this, I can't dig that. So this is why you have guys who are able to get into to positions that they would never normally allow a black man to get into in the first place. Um, a lot of the major representation of so-called black people now are not even black people. You know, most of them are not black people. Most of them are not black people. Most of these dudes are straight up Middle Earth Gentiles with a splash of Adamite blood to cover up the rest of their funky ass genetics. Anyway, I don't even want to talk about them. When I say I hate those black things, way more than I'll ever hate a white person. Way more. Way more. Way more. A white person ain't got nothing on right. Yep. You said it, sister. That M word abomination. Yeah. Well, I mean, but still, friends, family, or loved ones, regardless, regardless, that can't be your representative. You see what I'm saying? I can't be the face for mixed people. I'm not mixed. That's not gonna fly. It's not gonna fly. You know. So the fact that we have all these people who can try to force on you the idea that this person is gonna show us who you are. Well, I'm not even sure if it's about loving the white side more than the black side, sister. Uh, the white side has more money than the black side, a lot more money. So if they can get white people money, they don't need your black people money. So therefore, they don't need you. But they're gonna more than likely. I mean, that's just like Chris Brown probably has as many white fans as he do black ones. You know, white women especially. Same thing with J. Cole. Same thing with Drake. All that stuff. Yeah, they have a black fan support and a real black base, but at the end of the day, they don't need black people's money anymore. You see what I'm saying? Because they've surpassed black people's money. Um, and then let me use a guy right now who's in the media for all the wrong reasons. A guy like R. Kelly, right? Bam. But a dude like him could never break away. First off, he could never. They would never choose him to be the representative. But a guy like R. Kelly, uh, 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 if he tried to break away, he doesn't have a base strong enough anywhere else to not need black people. You know, they uh they have that ability. And that's the ability that we have to look at, is that they can get all the way up and all the way through from the black dollar and get to another dollar. You see what I'm saying? I don't need black people now. I don't need them, so I'm not fucking with them. Their issues are no longer my issues. You know, uh, and for all these dudes who are going to be like, "Oh, J. Cole is married to a black-looking chick," she's mixed with, once again, with loose ass hair, recessive genetics, whatever you want to say. I'm not hearing that. You see what I'm saying? I'm not hearing that. They but but even when you go skin tone based, if you guys are looking at me right now, I'm not dark skinned and I'm not light skinned. I'm right there in the middle. But if I talk to people that are darker than me, they'll try to say that I'm light skinned. Wow. If I talk to people that are lighter than me, they'll try to say that I'm a dark skinned guy. Even more laughable. Um, I think black people need to get over that. You know, that's part of that colorism shit that's got people, thinking wrong. You know, no. I'm serious. Because we as a black people, we as a black people, regardless of what the hue is, when they look like the people, they're the people. You see what I'm saying? Once again, if they don't look like the people, they're not the people. You're funny. They call me yellow. Lelo. Let me stop. This is actually very fun. Once again, I like to talk about stuff like this, basic, regular stuff, with things that actually apply to us, pertain to us. Um, um, what's funny is because black people are like this. For example, there's a lot of dark skinned people that don't mind a guy like Chris Brown being a so-called representative of the black community, and they might prefer him to be the representative than someone who looks more like them because they hate themselves, you know, and then vice versa. You know, there might be somebody who's yellow like Chris Brown who can't stand the fact that he's the leader of the people or a leader of the people, right? And he's not even full, and they're not full themselves. The four women came from the same nation, love. The four women are all Syrians, baby girl. All four of them can look exactly alike. Two of them are sisters. Two of them are sisters. One woman had 6 children. The other sister had 2. Between those 2 sisters, you have 8 babies. Right on? So you're talking about 8 people who could look very similar, just like that. You know? You like khaki better? You guys are funny. You guys are funny. Y'all are hilarious. But however, you have 8 children from pretty much the same genetic group because of the sisters. Then the 2 handmaidens who are also Syrian, Syr, not ASS, not the Assyrian, but the Syrian. Rebecca, the mother of uh of um of um of Israel, of Jacob, she's Syrian. Her father is Laban, the Syrian, son of Bethuel. however, however, since black people, you know us, we be tripping. But this is the whole point, though. That was something that Lamont Sims had tried to, had bared to mind, you know, because he was saying that, because there's 12 different tribes, there must be tribes that aren't bearded and tribes that have short hair and long hair, and I'm just like, I hear that. I hear where you're going with this, but you're going against scripture. Anytime what you saying goes against scripture, you got to throw it out the window. I don't give a damn how hard you want to believe it. Yeah, I sure do. I sure do. Um, this is just one of those things, y'all. Uh, uh, um, and since it's just ladies listening, I just want to approach y'all about some stuff. You know, once again, I try not to get like these other dudes who go off on these little. It's just like me and Andre Wickham calling. They call them the blame. It's the blame party. You know, that's right. They all have the genetics of Jacob, of Yakub. That's right. But all their mothers are from the same gene class, also. No, I mean, if y'all think that Jacob and Esau look just alike, you fell off and bumped your heads. So to say that about 12 tribes of people, that's like a no-brainer. You know what I'm saying? No duh, they didn't look exactly alike. But if you're going to tell me that four women who have the same genetic constitution, who once again, the man that they all have children with has the same genetic constitution that they do, I have a hard time believing that the physical constitution, the phenotype, the physical appearance of these people is going to differ greatly. I have a hard time believing that. Minor differences, sure, but nothing significant enough to where you can be like, these guys aren't related. No, surely they all look related. Surely they all look like brothers. Surely. It's one of those things. Um, However, this is just how it is. Sisters, no, they don't differ greatly. They can't. It's impossible. Impossible. I don't give a damn what nobody says. If I just explain it in the most simple terms, there are four women who have the same genes. Right, like looking European or any of that wicked nonsense. This is why I keep stressing to y'all Noah's sons were triplets. I'm praying to the Most High. The next time I do it, it'll really stick. I can see it's not sticking, and it's not. It's my own fault. The reason why I say, what I'm saying right now about the triplets is because you have to understand every named race of people in the book who actually come from the loins of Noah, via Shem, via Ham, via Japheth. All those men, at one point in time, the earth was all one people, all one race. You know, so if all the earth is one race and one lip, meaning that they all have the same genetic constitution, so that means that their phenotypes, regardless of the shade of skin, is still similar, meaning that their physical appearance still looks similar. Yeah, well, see, I mean, but that's how it's always going to be, though. You're going you're going to have people who are the people who don't want to be the people. That's for a lack of knowledge. And then you're going to have people who want to be the people who aren't the people. And that's because they're wicked. Um, um, I really, 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 really can't stress enough the triplets thing. That means that Shem, Ham, and Japheth are triplets. That means that all their children, who are all first cousins, would all have matching genetics. All these people running around literally look the same. I can't stress this enough. For a long time, for a very long time. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there's people. I'm sure there's people who look just like me, who are out there kicking it, kicking it. But that's because people from similar tribes or the same tribe are going to look alike. So when you're from the same tribe as somebody else, um, you're going to look like that person. Um, but I don't even get carried away with that much because that's that's asking too much for people. You know, it's asking women too much to not sleep with men who don't look like them, who are black men, whose brothers, their fathers, whatever. This man does not grow facial hair. Right on. All good. It's always good to have a lookalike, unless you're up to the wrong business or they're up to the wrong business. It's always good to have a lookalike. Always. But once again, though, that's my point. Is if all these people at one point in time were genetically the same, that means that they all look super duper similar. You know, the biggest points to this is when you get to the tribes that are actually in places like Africa, right? Where the tribes look the same. The people in the tribe all look alike because it's been the same genetics being jumbled over and over and over. And we have people once again who have the ability to be actively inactive in the sense that they don't want to use their two eyes. They actually would rather somebody tell them what it is that they're seeing. You know, I can't tell you how to feel as a person. I can't tell you what to experience or what to think. All I can do is infer, at best, motivate, request, but I can't dictate anything to anyone. So when I say stuff like we have to have the proper representation on TV screen in front of you, it can't be some Middle Earth Gentile thing uh, mixed with black Aboriginal blood, claiming to be the people, getting a better share of what it is to be black, or getting the best parts of being a recipient of such. Um, I cannot stress to y'all enough. Let me see if I can't get to it real quick. Because it was just crazy, you know. To see to see the truth about these relationships as it relates to biracial people, you know what I mean? Um, as it relates to people who are marrying it out, you know, and nobody wants to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear, there's information that supports right now what I'm saying about Abe Lincoln and and the fact that his rules, his laws were meant, his Lincoln laws. And if you look up Lincoln laws now on the internet or whatever, I'm gonna have to go and like go to the library and actually like look up his congressional fucking attempt. You know what I mean? Like he tried to push this shit through Congress before he got killed. Was pretty much like a provision that would allow blacks the right to vote, intermarry, all kinds of shit back in 1865. Now, the reason why this is so important is because I'm gonna read these statistics to you again. I'm gonna pull up the screen. I'm gonna share it with y'all, and you tell me what you think. If you think I'm tripping, I'll know here in a moment when I actually look up on the screen. So check this right here out. We're just gonna read this first part. It's the most important part by far. And the article is intermarriage in the U.S. 50 years after Loving versus Virginia. And now look at who wrote this, by Gretchen Livingston and Anna Brown. No offense, ladies, but a chick wrote this. So understand, they're coming from the point of view, I know that they're trying to defend this some way, shape, or form. I know it. I've already read all this, so I know what parts that they're trying to defend, and which is a woman's right to be with whoever it is that she wants to be with. Whatever y'all say. Let's read it real quick. In 1967, when miscongeniation laws were overturned in the United States, 3% of all newlyweds were married to someone of a different race or ethnicity. Since then, intermarriage rates have steadily climbed. By 1980, the shared number of intermarried newlyweds had doubled to about 7%. And by 2015, the number had risen to 17%. Stop right there. That's all I need. That's the only part I need to share with y'all. That's the only part I needed to give you. The reason why that's so important is because in 50 years, you went from 3% to 17%. So what that means is in a 50-year period, people found it okay. People found it all right, acceptable. I mean, decline, the clean sister. Why is that? Why is that a surprise? Listen though, why is that a surprise? They all got killed during have y'all really been listening to me? Listen, the reason for the Civil War was so that way they could kill off the mulattoes. Listen, Abraham Lincoln was a mulatto. He tried to pass laws before he got killed that were favorable towards mulattoes and black people who didn't mind and white people who didn't mind sleeping with one another. The U.S. is on its way to another showdown like this. Once again, who wants to hear this? Nobody. Nobody. Because if you let a punk ass old black man tell you the new face of black people are these mixed abomination things. Right. Somehow a motherfucker who don't look nothing like me, think like me, or act like me is all of a sudden the face of me now. Right. This goes back to that. So this is my whole point is, who are these people? Who are they? To tell you or to tell me or anyone else what to think, what to believe, how to feel, how to go about it. You're the last line of you're the first and last line of defense. You, not the people producing information to share with the people. No, you who listens to the information and has to discern and decide whether or not this is truthful. I know they're bred for a reason. But I mean, even when I point out small things, like there's mixed race athletes, but how many mixed race athletes can you think of right now that have white fathers? Right. The reason why you can't is because that's not something that with a white man doesn't normally pass off the an athletic prowess. Even the most disciplined white man, that's a true athlete. Normally, 9 times out of 10, worked his ass off to get that good. Where there's brothers and sisters who are just naturally athletic like that. And once again, the sisters, if your daddy didn't have none of that in him, chances are you don't got none of that in you. See what I'm saying? This is how it works. So who your parents are is everything. What's in your blood is everything. Um, they accuse mulattoes of being defected because they once again, you can look this up. White people, and I've seen too many different things. They feel that mixed race people are effeminate. Wow, effeminate. So don't you think it's funny that people who are considered effeminate to a white man, it's okay for them to be the face of the black community? Come on now. Are you guys starting to get at what I'm getting at here? I'm not calling them homosexuals. I'm not calling none of those dudes I spoke on earlier homosexuals. But do you see how deep that shit is? That they would call the mixed man, the mulatto thing, a low key faggot, pretty much, and then they'll put low key faggots in front of you, you know, you know, to be your people, to be your representation. Wow. If that is not crooked and wicked, I don't know what is. Oh, so now you're art lady? Well, good for you, Felicia. Good for you. No, it's not that. See, I'm not even gonna say that they want light skinned children to grant. They are just tired of being treated like shit because they're black. Once again, this is Hegelian dialect, right? They want you to inbreed with these people. So what do? They treat you like shit when you have something. They treat you like shit when you don't have nothing. But for some odd reason, whenever you buck dance their direction, they make it easy on you. So people say to themselves, well, you know what? If I want it to be easy on my children, I want them to look like the people who already have it the easiest. It's a perceptual witchcraft. But you're talking about people who, once again, people who have, you're talking about a genetic group or race of people who have issues having children. And yet, once again, people want to be just like them. You have a group of people who have issues having children, telling other people how many children that they can have. Wow. Do y'all get it? Do y'all really see the whole issue with birth control and all this? That white people don't make enough, they can't make enough babies. They can't. 9 times out of 10, when you've seen a white guy and a white woman with a bunch of babies, I mean, with a bunch of babies, chances are they both are either both RH negative or it's a must that they both are RH positive. You follow what I'm saying? And I'm saying like a bunch of kids. We're talking about white people with like a family of like 5, 6, 7. Same mom, same dad. Because white people historically are not known for having large families, except for when they had already been blood mixing with the indigenous population of this land, working over that RH negative, changing it to RH positive, and then that's how they do it. I'm not sure. Once again, it's easy to say that they wanted the mixed babies, but it's like, I mean, how many of you? I mean, how many of you actually have a child that's mixed? You know, because my son is mixed. His mom is black and white. You guys can be like, oh, he's black, but I'm like, I still have enough respect for myself to say that my son is mixed. Yeah, he's black dominant, but he's mixed. I okay, so yeah, you're right. So that's what I'm saying is like, but that's my point though. Is like for people who actually don't like me, you know what I'm saying? For myself, I can say as a man, see, once again, for me to say this to you as women, for you to go be with another person who's not your people, shame on you. Shame on you on the highest levels. And the reason why I say the highest levels, you know what I'm saying? Right. But it's not about what you wanted. It's not about what you want, right on. It's about what happens. I know a lot of these black women right now who have mixed children. And I don't give a fuck how much they say they love their babies and this, that, and the other. I can see the shame in people's faces. And in black women's face, you wear the shame way differently than a black man will ever wear the shame. Way differently. Like at least I can get. I'll give this to the women over the women over men. At least the women seem as if they know that they've made a decision that has forever altered their destiny. At least they have that look on their face. You know. You know. That's a that's just life. You know. That's just life. I met the dude last night. Uh, he's Mexican. His baby mama black. He's telling me this, that, and the other about the chick. And finally, it dawns on me when he's telling me a part of it, you know. And I didn't blame him. because he's telling me about his life and his past and how he was able to get cleaned up and this, that, and the other. But I was thinking in my head, like, I wonder if he influenced her to get on drugs. See what I'm saying? And now that he's clean and he's got his baby and all that stuff, it's easy for him being Mexican. See what I'm saying? And his people once again having enough of their minds together to understand that he needs to get his life right to take care of his child. You know. And how does your brother feel about that? If he's ever talked about it, you know what I'm saying? But that's how you have to be. You have to know. You have to know what's going on, sister. You have to know the system. Um, I just, I can say though, for me, it's just this simple. No person is gonna make me accept their child. Right on. No one is gonna make me accept their baby. You feel me? I'm a black man. I look like this because I have black parents. Okay. So when people want to force on somebody, oh no, my children are black, or they have no, that's not fair. Because as a black man, you know what I'm saying, once again, if the child is not black, they're not black. That's not fair for all the other people that have struggled and been persecuted for being just that, regardless of their skin tone. Because there's been light skinned black people who could almost pass for white and that have been black, woolly nigga hair and everything. So, once again, if we're talking about skin tone, then let's talk about skin tone. But if we're talking about cultural identity, let's talk about that. And the fact that, just like Tammy Brother saying, uh, 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 your brother now knows, but I mean, once again, his destiny, he can never alter that. He can never change that. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I feel more strongly when women do it than when men do it. Because for a woman to ask a man to accept, once again, her fucking abomination baby, a black man, and to accept it and take care of it, that is so disrespectful. That is so disrespectful. Because now all of a sudden you found your blackness. Now you need a black man. Well, what the fuck? Same thing for these. It's just the same exact thing for the black man trying to come back too. He's got 6 or 7 children. Not one of them are black. Not one of the mothers are even half black, part black. None of that. I don't blame black women who were like, no, I'm not dealing with him. Because the only reason why he's messing with us now is because these straight hair women done gave him, you know what I mean, all that he can take. So that's I get it. But I'm him to stand in the middle of the street and say that to both sides. Because I have no issues calling either side's babies abominations. You think I wouldn't call my son an abomination right to his mom, right to her face? Knowing what I know now, it means nothing to me. Nothing, to be honest. See, the Bible is polite. It uses the word stranger, but they're an abomination. To have strange genetics is abominable because at one point in time, everybody had the same genetics. So how'd you get strange genetics out of somewhere? Out of nowhere. Where the fuck did those come from? And once again, people want to force it down your throat. Like you just have to accept it. You don't have to accept that. And this goes back to representation. Either you as a black person are going to represent yourself the way that you know you're supposed to be represented. You articulate yourself in a manner and you carry yourself in a manner, right? You don't need a person who, as Mr. Roger Spice so eloquently puts all the time, mamzer. You don't need some mamzer, okay, telling you what it is and what it ain't. But it's not a new race of people. It's not a new race of people. They're not a new race. They've been around for a long time. Are y'all listening to me? They killed off a mass majority of these people during the Civil War. Can you dig that? Y'all really need to like get on board with that. They're not new. This is not new. This is why they don't like people who. Let me use Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson as a prime example. Steph Curry has way more black people like features than Klay Thompson does, but their skin tone is almost the same. But Klay Thompson, if you didn't know any better, and just first glance, Klay Thompson is a white dude. On everything, that's a white boy to about 90% of people. Some people would think he's like a Mexican or something like that, or some kind of Hispanic or whatever. But like most people looking at Klay Thompson would think that he's white. So once again, if you have a dude laid out with white skin, you know, once again, that's what makes you have genetics that can they're not compatible. They're not compatible. You're absolutely right, sister. They're fighting in their bodies. They're fighting in their bodies. But this just goes back to the little mamzer things being the representation for you. You know, let me ask y'all something. Out of the whole Bible, when you read it, oh, really? Yes. Yes. The little mamzer things. Not my people. Nope. They're the stranger. They're the stranger. Any mixed person is a stranger. It doesn't matter what the fuck they say. Want to know how I know that for a fact? I I bear a heavy burden because I have it all in my head. I bear a heavy burden because it's all right here. It's all right there locked away. So how do you think I feel? How do you think I feel? How do you think I'm forced to go about things a certain way. I don't even have a choice. Like I literally have no choice. I have to go about things a certain type of way. That's what it is. The stranger, one who is from the womb or from the seed of a strange person. Strange being not normal, different, awkward. So, if people back in the biblical days, if the people in the Bible are black, only if they're black, and it's possible for black people to have strange children with other black people, I am forced to say to you all that one drop of Negro blood does not make you a Negro, because they was all Negroes back then. Forced to say even more, evermore, that whatever people breed with, whatever looking things they're breeding with now, even some of these black skin things, they're breeding with not only the stranger and the Gentile, but they have therefore, in fact, made their child a stranger and gentilic. Yes, yes, that's the truth. For the sake of argument, I'm going to pull up a picture of my son and I'm going to show you little Zachariah, and you will see what I'm talking about. Where it's not to be rude to my son, but he's him. You know, he is him. One moment. Bam, bam. Give me 1 second. Here it be. So this is little Zachariah. This is my son. Yes, we actually look alike. I know. But look, and I'm gonna show you another picture of him real quick. Obviously, he has, yellow, brown skin or whatever. And a lot of his features are more black than not, even his hair. But still, that's my son. If I'm willing to call my own son a little mamzer dude, and I love him, what is so horrible? What? What? What, that I can talk the truth about my son? It's okay. He'll be all right. He'll live. He will live. He will live. That's my son, though. So when I speak what I'm speaking, I stand on a little bit. I stand on a little bit where my son looks more like a black person than he looks like a whatever, nigga features and all that. But I don't, he's still mixed to me. My son could never be the face of black people. Not to me, he couldn't. Not to me. He would have to, I would have to see some amazing I'd have to see some amazing action. So just because a guy like Chris Brown can dance and sing a little bit, how many black people have you known who could dance and sing? Right. 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 That's the whole point. And they will, once again, force this nonsense upon you as if you don't have a mind of your own to think for yourself. Oh, it's okay. He'll be just fine. He'll be okay. You're funny. He will be just fine. Plus, he stands a much better chance, no offense, than a whole lot of these black people do anyway. So it doesn't matter. Much better chance. Not just because I'm his father. No. But because he's in an area where he's around black people and he's going to learn the good ways and the bad ways of black people. And I'm just hoping, praying and wishing that black women don't turn my son off. Like I said, his mom is mixed. They might parade around and call him black. But this one who's talking to you, he knows better. He knows much better. And that's just how it goes. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, you know what? I like that. I like that comparison. The reason why I like your comparison so much is because the pictures that we see of the Egyptians, like I showed that picture the last video, there's no way of knowing what bloodline of Egyptians Hagar the Egyptian came from. There's no way. There is no way of knowing. None whatsoever. I'll assume she comes from the Middle Earth Egyptians. The reason why I say I'll assume is because they're the ones who seem to have the most prominence and power. It's more of the Middle Earth things that we see with the pictures of so-called Egyptians. So with that said, yeah, I would contend that Ismael had funny genetics, real funny genetics. And not to say that Abraham or any of these guys, they all had funny tainted genetics themselves. Once again, everybody is is way more Middle Earther than they will ever know or understand. They're way more than they'll ever know. They have way more fallen angel genetics in their body than they'll ever know. The Most High God did not tell Adam, you're going to live 120 years. No, he didn't tell him that. He said that to the sons of God who had gigantic children. He said, my spirit and man's flesh shall certainly not strive together. Right, right. So that means that most of these people who want to talk, the fallen angels, fallen angels, fallen angels, dude, you're infested with those genetics. Infested with them. Infested. And you got the nerve to talk about part of your gene pool. Once again, if you want to be 100,000, we're all part abomination. Straight up, outright. There's no way around it. No way around it. And this is why I'm always laughing at people. Because unless you really understand what it is that I understand, like, all you have to do is read the Bible, but then you have to read it and then accept what it is that you're reading. You have to full out accept it. I didn't say you have to agree. Yeah, we all have it. What? Oh, what? You guys thought you were tax exempt? Here's the question. Here's the $1 million question. How did Sim live 600 years? And the men lived for hundreds of years after that, to all of a sudden, they were living just barely 200 years. Then all of a sudden, right? Yes. Everybody, all these people they've got a healthy amount of Middle Earther blood coursing through their veins. Healthy, whole heaps of it. That's why I'm always the way I am. Because they have no idea. No idea. They have no earthly idea. And it's written within scripture. If you read the Bible, we understand the reason why people's lives get shorter and shorter and shorter is because it's been infused. It was introduced at a certain age, at a certain generation, these Middle Earth things who were coming from a more dominant class of beings that only live 120 years. So the 120 years plus all the other years, people, right, who lived a lot longer, every generation is going to get shorter and shorter and shorter until it eventually spans itself out. When you equate the fact that they've made the water dirty, the air dirty, the food dirty, right on, everything we do is dirtied now. So that shortens the life expectancy, right? That kills off longevity. These little things that aren't acknowledged, these little things that are overreached, I won't even say overlooked, just overreached, are they are the catalyst, they are the linchpin, they are the exact reason why it is that we have anything. Once again, I am a lowly servant, a lowly servant. At best, I'm an ambassador for my parents. While I represent my parents, see, and this is why, once again, as a white man, would you want your mixed mulatto son actually representing you as the white man? Does he really know what it's like to be a white man? These are little things, little things. But yet, the black man will gladly accept the mulatto manager thing, being top dog and being king to him. It's got nothing to do with me. I just wanted to throw that out there. When are we as a people going to say enough? When are people going to say enough? It's in everything, sister. What do people think the Most High meant when he said, and all the earth was corrupted? You know what I'm saying? For all flesh had corrupted its way upon the earth. Right. For the earth was corrupted, for all flesh had corrupted its way upon the earth. There we go. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. we are going to go through a continuous process and formulation of what it is or changes. I want to speak on now and leave this in the past. I want to talk about Operation Longshot going forward. This is going to be a very difficult project to do. You're talking about breaking hearts and making enemies. That's what that's the man. This project, it has, well, the operation has an innumerable amount of projects. When I say innumerable number of projects. Project Abraham was so far down the list from the beginning of the projects. I want to go back into my into the scripture and point out the things that I understand are the closest things to the true origins of said such material. Enoch. Yes, that's right. The list is infinite. The project list is infinite. But it's only infinite to people like us. Um, this is going to be one that really makes people feel some type of way. Because I'm going to go all in everything. I'm going to go all in on genetics. I'm going to go all in. You know, I have nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. Got not a thing to fear. I've lost so much. That little baby that I showed you, my son, whom I do love very much. My growth, everything that y'all hear me talk about, everything that I understand comes from, especially when I'm talking about the breeding and the genetics, my in-depth, very personal way of going about it comes from my situation with my son and just really appreciating, years down the line, how the Most High saved me from myself. His mom will never know a day what it's like to be a black person. She'll never know what that's like. She's mixed, but like, forget it. She'll just never know. She'll never know. She might get treated like garbage every once in a while. It's just not like being treated like a black person. It's just not quite the same. Whenever I ask all the other races, do you think you would be here without my people getting beat on the fucking back? Just like that? I asked them just like that. You know what? Do you know what they all say when they have a mouthful of pork, chicken, hot dog, or whatever the fuck it is they're eating? They're like, no, we know we wouldn't be here. They shake their little head, saying, no, I know I wouldn't be here, or yes, I know I wouldn't be here. But they understand they would not be here. They know they wouldn't be here. I had to tell the little Chinese dude talking about the Chinese built the railroad. No, y'all didn't. No, y'all didn't. No, the fuck you didn't. You helped build the railroad. And the reason why you helped build the railroad because you stupid ass greedy little bastards came over here looking for gold. You thought that you guys were going to get on that on the California gold rush, but that's not how it happened. You ended up having to help finish off the Transcontinental Railroad. Oh, of course they know. Of course they know. You didn't know that they knew, sister? So it's just one of those things. This is where we're at. This is what we have to do. Here's my question for y'all, though. I know you guys are listening. I don't want to get nobody rah all riled up. Don't do nothing crazy, okay? But I want y'all really to start look at people and start to understand. And anytime you can give especially you ladies, when you can give some unconventional, helpful wisdom to one of these younger ladies out here, right? Especially these young black ladies. So that way you can tell them, look, young lady, unless you really hate yourself and you really hate how you look and you really hate being the person that you are, you should go be with somebody who looks like you. The man that you want to be with should hold genetic resemblance to your father. You see what I'm saying? It's important, for any of the brothers who are possibly listening who ain't made themselves known. Same things for you, bro. All that goes, and everything that I'm saying, I already do. I do tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. I do it as much as I can when I'm around people. I don't know nobody else who primary source of income is white people and will gladly tell white people that they're not shit. I do it all the time, like my hedge of protection or something like that. Straight up, this is the truth, y'all. And I don't care. I'd fall on a sword before I cared. Right in front of you guys, I'd fall on a sword before I acted like I cared about something like that. Like I told Andre Wickham, like I told Roger Spice, and I'll tell y'all right now, it is their effing money. They can have it. They can have it all. It's theirs. I don't. What good is the American dollar going to do once America's crushed? If y'all believe Scripture be true, he's not talking about taking physical fiat dollars. Not talking about taking silver and gold, lithium, magnesium, things like that. Right on. Right on. But you're still young yourself. You're not as young as you used to be, but you're most definitely not an old person. So, big deal on that one is you being able and able is the first part. And then after that is willing, to speak on that. Because it always seems like a good idea until people get all the way boggled down. And I see it all the time. I always see it. I always see the brothers. It's always a brother with a white chick, right? Every once in a while, he's with an Asian or whatever. But normally I see him with a white girl. And they have, 3 or 4 or 5 kids or whatever. And you can kind of tell by how he walks, he walks back from everybody, or he stays away from brothers will distance themselves unless they're totally in love with this. I got kids with good hair mentality or whatever, like a true sellout. Unless they're like a true sellout, they normally you can see how uncomfortable they are. You can always see how uncomfortable they are. And with the ladies especially, I love it. I love seeing black women with their dude now, with their anybody but a black man. Because what that does for me is it allows me, number one, to look. I mean, I normally if I'm feeling some type of way, like I won't even look their direction. You know what I mean? Like, and I can see in my peripherals, like the chick looking at me and the dude looking at me. Mainly it's the chick though, because the woman is looking for the approval. She's looking for the approval of a man to say that what she's done is okay, that what she's done is all right. But I'm not going to say that what you've done is okay or all right if it's not okay or all right. My face will show disapproval. My body language will show disapproval. And if you get close enough and start talking with me, my words will say disapproval all the way. There is no question about it. There is not a question about it to me. Uh, uh, black chicks, black chicks look at me the craziest when they walk by. You guys understand? I sell food for a living. I deal with a lot of people. When I deal with a bunch of people, and it's always discouraging. Here's the most discouraging thing that that I'll see. I might look up the street and I'll see them walking, and they were holding hands at first, kissing on each other, loving each other, right? What up, Wavy Ben? What up, bro? And then they go from hugging and kissing each other. They'll get by the hot dog stand, and they'll get somewhere. See, because I'm bearded and I don't always comb my hair. It's always moisturized. Don't get it wrong. I always oil it up, but I don't always comb my hair. So sometimes I just look like, this ruffian looking black dude. And it's like they know. It's like I have like a something emitting from my body outside of just the clear facial. I make sure my face looks disgusted when I see them. Make sure I turn the ugly face on because I want them to know. I sorely disapprove. I sorely disapprove. And you, young lady, you are not my people. Every time I get the chance to let them know as they walk by, I always say, "You're not my people." With the crowd of white people walking by, with the black chick holding the white boy's hand or whatever, Asian dude's hand or whatever, who'll gladly let them know, "You're not my people." When I'm feeling real juiced, I'm like, "Sell out." They already know who I'm talking to. Y'all like, this nigga crazy. I know you guys are like, this nigga's crazy. It's okay though. Because once again, I will bear that burden because it is a great one. It is a great burden to bear. So I will bear it for us all. Don't worry. It's just what it is. I know I'm going all in, but I just have to let it be known. The most discouraging thing to see or to hear. Once again, I was watching the video about a month ago, and I was on the O'Shea Duke Jackson channel, and it was something like talking pro-black but sleeping entirely white, and I thought it was weird because you can't talk pro-black and be sleeping anything other than black. You see what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see it. I honestly cannot perceive how a person, is actually I don't know. Oh my goodness, what's what I'm looking for? Like, I don't know, like just you ever been somewhere? You're shopping and you seen somebody that you knew, let's say from like school or whatever, right? And then like, they were kind of in a rush to like, get away. Okay, Caribbean Hebrew, love you, sister. You take it easy. And you have a blessed week this week. Shalom. But and this person try to like, I don't know, shuck and jive on you. They're like, yo, they're like, how you been? How you been? And they're like, they're trying their best to get up out of there. Well, And then like lo and behold, like walks up like a chick that was like, nasty, we'll say. And and then you're like, wow, you got with this person. Now you don't say that. That's what you're thinking in your head. But it's that same thing when people breed out. Okay. It's like it's like before you seen the babies, they were still that, they were still a black person, you know. But it's like, how can you talk about loving your people? How can you talk about being for your people? Anything like that, and you're the exact opposite. You are lead arsenic to your people. And won't even admit it. Won't even don't even have the nerve to say you're not good for your own people. How that's bull. That's bull. You know, I'm a I'm the kind of guy who's like, the only way a dude like Chris Brown, J. Cole, and those guys can get on board in my book is if they're in the back of the bus. That's it. Get your ass in the back. We don't need any of your part white man ideas. Not one of them. Not one. I don't need an unoriginal idea from an unoriginal mofo. The mule is a perfect form of the abomination because in its abomination, just like the liger, it is sterile, it is infertile, rendered incapable of making babies. Yet the mulatto, nay, this is not its fate. Now, when people say, how could you speak on the mulatto and not all the other mixed beings on this planet? Because they have nothing to do with black people. Not a damn thing. A dude who's half Mexican, half Asian, half white, half Asian, half Islander, half Asian, half whatever, not black, ain't got shit to do with me. Nothing. I cannot change their life for the better or for the worse. Chances are they don't have the ability to do the same for me. So, once again, I talk about what affects us. You're affected by this, whether y'all realize it or not. You're actually drastically affected by this. By the time black people realize that they've all made fatal mistakes, ones that can't be come back from, ones that it's over. Like when I say it's over and it's done, it's over. It's to me, it's bomb. I love it. Personally, I love it. Personally, I loves it. I fucking can't get enough. I can't get enough of when certain black people finally get what they've been asking for. I can't. I love it. I thrive on seeing it happen. It makes me feel good. Every time I'm right about a dirty ass little mixed person doing some dirty ass shit that I can see coming, I love it. Every time one of these guys are like, my granddaddy was white, and then they do some white people shit, I love it. Why are you gonna get mad at them for being them? Accept it and roll with it. Say, okay, this is who they are. What else are they gonna show me? I straight called a white dude the devil yesterday. He was talking all. I was like, dude, you're the devil. That's what you are. You feel me? Your people aren't even humans. Just straight served them. Straight served them in front of a group of white people. When I say I go all in, when I say I go all in, I go all in. Go all in like my man, freaking Wavy Ben Israel. He made a little song on SoundCloud. It's pretty cracking. I liked it a lot. What? What? I'm just saying, sister. I'm just saying that's shit. You know, personally, uh, I don't really look one way or the other. You know, I do go in. I go in. I go all in. You know what I'm saying? There's no time. There's no time to be playing games with people. There is no time. You know, one of my favorite songs when it came out was that Lil Wayne and Drake. I'm going in. Y'all just don't know. You have no idea. For a long time, that was my theme song. Every once in a while, I think about it. I just get amped up. Oh no, I didn't think you had a problem with it, sister. I just thought it was funny, that you're like, you're laughing your ass off over there. Because I'm just me. I'm just a knucklehead. You know, I am just a knucklehead. Uh, uh, it has been an honor uh, and a blessing. Roger Spice thinks I'm doing something right. He says, anytime you have people who will congeal together and just want to hear about, certain things, that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. As I learn myself and I get better myself, the things that I say will be tempered differently with the same meaning and same message, but tempered so that way it can permeate more minds, permeate more souls, help people to think on the decisions that they make as they make them, so that way they can make the best decision. Um, there's no one thing I could tell you that's gonna fix whatever it is that you may or may not have done. There's no one set of advice that I could give you. Because even if I say to take up and follow after the Most High, or to seek the Most High out, there are many instances within Scripture that are open for interpretation as to how a person is to conduct themselves. Um, it doesn't tell people how to act after they just had to stone their own child. It doesn't say what people go through. It doesn't explain the emotional range of that person. When you do read scripture and you understand people who go and make shrines for the dead loved ones, right? And then end up worshiping these same people, even if you were to speak on something like that, it's still not in the context of what I'm saying. Because when I speak to it, I'm speaking to a level of like, it has to be real personal. This whole thing has to be real personal. It can't not be not it can't not be personal. You know, when people say don't take it personal, that's amazing. That's amazing. Why not take it personal? Why not? I take everything personal. You know, everything is a personal thing on earth. So for a person to tell you don't do that, that's crazy. You know, um, you live in a body. As the body that you live in, they call you a person. Yet they tell you not to take things personal. What? What? Who's once again? Who's making the rules here? Who's making this shit up? Because if that makes sense to you, then sure, I guess that's cool. If that makes sense to you, then sure, I guess that's cool. But we're just talking, chopping it up. When we talk about this whole being represented the proper way thing, that falls hand in hand with that. You need people who look like you to speak up for you. That's right, sister. It's all personal. It's always personal. It's always going to be personal. I take it as a personal assault on my soul constitution as a man, on my mindset and my physical well-being when I have people tell me that I have to accept the world the way it is. I don't have to accept shit. I can acknowledge that this is what it is. I don't accept it. And I damn sure don't agree. It is what it is. That does not mean I have accepted. That means I've acknowledged that it is what it is. I don't accept anything like that. And you don't have to. And you shouldn't have to. And shouldn't nobody be asking you to accept tomfoolery. I don't have the same things to look forward to. I don't. I've never spent a day with my son in his life. Never. I've held my son for hours, a few different. I want to say it to y'all, I've only met my son like 5 or 6 times his whole life, his whole entire life. My son will be 4 at the end of this year. So I don't have that. I don't know what it's like to be a father. I don't know any of that. I know none of those feelings. And once again, the Most High saved me from myself. It's like He protected me from myself because I never developed those feelings. I don't have them. You see what I'm saying? And because the way that ladies have treated me since not being with my son's mother, you know. I mean, sister, but it is what it is, though. But it is what it is, you know, because I mean, at the end of the day, my my son, whether or not I like it, he's somewhere where people actually love him and care about him. It's just one of those things where it's like I go over this constantly, reminding myself. I mean, we can say it's not meant to be, but I mean that's the easiest way once again to placate myself. Right on. If I said that, that would be me placating myself on what I did, and then that makes my actions reckless. Um, More so than I think that it wasn't meant to be. I just think that there were people who felt like they could better help the situation than I was already helping my own situation. And once again, when you're dealing with a person who's half white and their white family is full blown behind them just to keep you away from the baby, as a black man who has, at the time I had no resources, and I have very little resources now. If it happened to me now, I would be in a better position to do something, but I wouldn't be in a much better position to do something. Uh, it's that same kind of stuff, you know, being able to roll with the punches and accept, okay, this is what's happening. Accept that it's happening. Right on. Once again, I acknowledge other things. I don't accept everything. I accept this with my situation. Right on? Because this is my situation. I acknowledge it and I accept it. I appreciate my situation. I don't agree with what I'm going through, but I appreciate what I'm going through. I appreciate the fact that I've had, once again, all this growth behind this situation. If you listen to Spiritual Gumbo from freaking 2.5, almost 3 years ago, and you listen to me right now, total different person, total different person, you know. So it's just accepting what the Most High has given us as far as that. But first, you have to acknowledge it on that level. You accept what the Most High does to you. and it's all personal. Everything is personal. But what they want you to accept on this planet as your condition for living, you don't have to accept that. You acknowledge that this is what they want, but you don't have to accept that. See, they get mad at drug dealers because drug dealers don't accept being poor. They can't accept it. Yet, drug dealers want you to acknowledge their struggle when it's like, what struggle have you really had when you've tried to, you've, for the sake of not struggling, you've put and burdened other people with struggles and hardships just to still struggle yourself. So, and these are just things, they're small. They don't seem like they're interconnected, but they are. And because we have, once again, these mentalities that are so unhelpful, uh, so destructive, that that they would believe that somebody who was actually bad for them is right for them. I mean, a person who is absolutely garbage, and they're going to believe that that person is right for them. They're going to believe that that person is good to them. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. Can't really. Uh, I mean, it is painful. It is painful. It's painful. It's painful. Um, I give you guys something from this weekend. Way back in the day when I used to do my spiritual gumbos, every couple spiritual gumbos, I would just let people know how everything went with me. All right, you know. So my weekend was like this. Started off really slow, you know, doing the games. Did the club Friday night. It's fairly easy, no friction. Then last night, once again, this is my whole point right here of people who piss me off because they don't know shit. Now there's this real light skinned dude, right? Yellow boy. Now I know he's mixed, but people who look at him think he's, they think he's black and he's just light skinned. But I know he's mixed. You know what I'm saying? And there was this chick who had parked behind me. Now at first it was cute because car full of little Gentile girls are singing Beyonce, "Say My Name." They're literally singing the song to me. I can't make this up. They sang like the whole song, like 4 or 5 of them, right? Then they start playing this other stupid new school rap music that I just hate. I really can't stand Beyonce. I like a few of her songs, but as a person, I think that she's probably one of the worst things to happen to Black women. But that's a whole other topic for a whole other time. She deserves her own little. I'd have to talk about her and her only. Anyway, um, um, they get done singing a little song. This dude pulls up and blocks their car in because he thinks they're attractive and they're outside dancing and they got the little music loud. And I'm pissed because at this point I'm like, man, why are these? Why? Like, why are they blasting this music behind me? Why are they doing this, right? Because the Beyonce song wasn't half as loud. They like turned it all the way up when the rap came on, and I'm like, no, I can't take it. I can't take it. You're listening to these mumble rappers. No, no, no. You're not gonna. That is torture. That shit is torture. I'm sure they kidnap little Haji terrorist dudes all the time and just play Migos all day, everywhere. I'm fucking dead ass serious, y'all. Man, if I wanted to torture you, that's what I would do to you. Okay, I wouldn't put my hands on you at all. I would just fucking put Migos on fucking loop, and you would just go crazy. And so it was like that. It was like they kept playing all these freaking stupid ass songs. So finally, I said something to bro. I'm like, bro, will you move out the way, bro, so that way they can. And then he tries to flex on me, like He's like, man, I don't keep. He tells them, he's like, turn up the music, turn it up. Woo, woo, woo. I'm pissed. At this point, they already know not to turn the music back up because they don't listen to this dude not one time. He tells them a bunch of times to turn the music up. See what I'm saying? He's supposed to be a black man. He's supposed to be a brother. He's supposed to be a brother. And what does he do? He sides with the others, right? Sucker butt. Straight poop booty ass nigga. And they be wondering why I treat him like this. And so, long story short story shorter, this guy comes back talking about, bro, you still mad at me? Are you mad at me, bro? I'm like, I'm not mad at you, man. I was like, but you act like what you're doing with the females is more important than what I'm doing here as a businessman, as an entrepreneur right now. And he was like, well, bro, it kind of was though. And that right there, that's that mentality. Okay? That's that mentality that people will put this Down syndrome, moron, idiot, imbecile, a guy just like him, J. Cole looking ass dude, Chris Brown looking ass dude, they'll put him as the face. And all he's going to do is chase after women. Not even worried about if his brother's business is okay or not. Not even worried about how he's adversely affecting his brother's business. Mind the fact that I've given this man food and money before. Mind that fact. Mind that fact. So yeah, he got called all kinds of half-breeds, abominations at first when he was rolling out. Then when he came back and he asked me, was I mad? No, because I already said what I had to say. I am a man of action. When it's about to go down, I'm a man of few words. Very few words. I'm talking about all the way up until the moment where I think it's actually about to pop off. You might get a little verbal out of me. I actually might even talk to you a lot. But the moment my soul tells me it's about to go down, friend, foe, family, whatever, I draws the line. I draws the line. More than disloyal. It was sickening. It was sickening. But this is what we go through. You know, this is what we go through. We're never, ever, 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 ever going to get what we deserve. Never. Not in this country. You know, some of us deserve to have our freaking craniums rocked to the white meat. But because there's rules against stuff like that, they're never going to have the cranium rocked. Some of us really, really do need a swift kick. I mean, and a couple swift kicks for some of us. Yeah, because this country, this society has rules against the swift kick motion. You can't do that. Washington State, where I live, has this law called the mutual combat. And what that means is that if two people agree to engage in combat, whatever injuries are sustained, even death, it's their own fault. I love it. I love it. I have beat dudes up in front of the cops before. While the cops watch me take my gun off, walk around from my hot dog stand, put hands on one guy, then put hands on the other guy. It's just little stuff. However, you can't trust somebody who does not love themselves. And the reason why I say he didn't love himself is because it wasn't like he was trying to holler at some black chicks like that. They're all Asians and Mexicans. Why do you want them so bad, bro? Why do you want one of them so bad? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be with nobody who thinks I'm exotic. That's just how I feel. I'd rather go through all the crazy stuff I go through with black chicks, getting called a weirdo, getting called crazy, getting told why my baby mama stopped fucking with me, all that. I'd rather go through that, as painful as that is, I'd rather go through that than take the easy road. The easy road for Demetrius is like realistically, I could probably go to a bar tonight and get a chick who would be my girlfriend. She's just not going to be black. That's all. That's the reality. Because for me as a black man to go to a bar setting and then to get the black chick, I might as well have been fucking two white guys. You know what I mean? Like literally, I had to be two white men. You know, to like pretty much have her attention. I'd have to be two white dudes in one body to have her attention because you don't have their attention. I don't. You might catch her eye, but as a black man, you don't really have the black woman's attention. So because of that, it's easier for these dudes once again to fall into a situation where I'm gonna go somewhere where people actually want to pay attention to what I'm saying. They actually don't mind listening to what I'm saying. Everything I say, they don't try to call me crazy behind it. Everything I say, they don't try to say, "Oh, you're a fucking weirdo." See what I'm saying? So it's like I understand. Trust me, I get it. I get it. I get it. And you're talking to a dude like, truth be told, I could just, I could give away, I could just give away the energy that people call swag or whatever or game or I could just get, I give all of it away that I have all the time. I just give it away because I have, so, I've been gamed up so much. You know what I'm saying? I've been around some real hitters, so I don't. Once again, I don't level everything to being the same. You know, love black women. I'm always gonna love black women. They don't turn me off as much as it is they make me upset and they make me disappointed. You know, and then once again, these same black chicks will call a black man a race traitor because he's tired of being alone and by himself. Wow, that's the shit I'm talking about. That's that shit right there. And then they wonder why the representation for the black community ends up being these little mulatto guys, these little abomination mixed dudes, because you were too busy as a black woman to not deal with that black man. You say, I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. Just being honest. It's not a, it's not a, it's not kosher, you know, it's not kosher. But I mean, what can I do to change any of that? You know, can't do anything. I can't change none of that. You know, it's not my place. That's just like, I know this is going to sound sick and vicious in its own way. Oh, yeah, no, of course it's vice versa. Of course. Of course. Of course. Know that many things I speak on, with the exception of a few, are normally two-way streets. Normally. If it's not a two-way street, I normally explain why it's not a two-way street. Um, However, this has been uh, once again a glorious honor just to sit here and chop it up with y'all. I think this is funny. I've actually been kind of consistent on the subject, um, but I do know that we are poorly represented, um, and because of that poor representation, we're always misunderstood. Through, through the misunderstandings of people to us, we then go through these trials where people will alienate us from the ability to even almost take care of the most basic things, attempting to force you to do something you're not supposed to do. And when you don't do what you're not supposed to do, then they call you weak. Wow. That right there that's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking. you know. So he didn't sell dope. He only worked a 9 to 5. Shit, he worked 2 of them. And he come home every day, and this woman, all she does is let him know how much he ain't shit. So he say, fuck it one day. He decide he just gonna kill himself, and that's what he do. Another brother, same situation. Bust his ass every day. Work, 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 work. Right? Only he come home one day to find that his woman been fucking around, sleeping around on him. So, and she's still able to put him on child support. He leaves the state, whatever, whatever, whatever. You know, he tries to move on, never really quite does. He might even go and start another family, but he will never move on from that situation. Never. It's impossible. It's impossible. He's not a real man. If that man can say that he put his old family behind him, the past is behind him, he's not a real man. He's not a real man because that should be ever present on his mind. That's a failure. You see what I'm saying? What happened with me, my son, and his mother? It's a failure on my part as a man, and to not accept that or acknowledge that, that's childish, to say the least. So when we're dealing with people who who won't accept what it is that they've done and what it is that they're doing and how it affects the people that they're around, we're never going to get anywhere. You know, we're talking about, once again, let's just pick up another brother. Only this brother sells dope, but his girl still bust his ass, still bust his balls, still ride this nigga like a witch on a broomstick. So where do you see what I'm saying? And he's not suffering. He's poisoning the people. A lot of the people who choose to suffer, he's poisoning their family members. See what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna pick another one. And you got the brother. He works and works and works and works and works, loses his job. Says, okay, hey, I lost my job, all right. His woman leaves him. He accepts that. All right, she left me. Takes the kids, everything. He accepts that too. Can't even see him on the weekends. He gets that. He accepts all of it. His brother earnestly seeks whatever help he can get. He's extremely diligent. This is many brothers. Don't ever get it fucked up. This is many brothers I'm talking about right here. There's more brothers who suffer and don't have shit and go through suffering every day than those who have a little bit, who don't even realize that they have a little bit. But however, these brothers are forced into the rock and the hard place. And what do they do when they're forced into the rock and the hard place? As a real man, as opposed to him saying, I'm going to go take from another person what I need, I'm going to suffer and not have it. And eventually, not having what I need will diminish me to a point to where I'm no longer the same person. I can no longer think the same thoughts because I don't have the sustenance or the environment, the circumstances that are normally provided for one to thrive. As a black man who goes through these kinds of things, you know, he who suffers in silence, that one, that man, he's never gonna get the salute he deserves, and that brother needs a hug. Right on. He don't need no money. He just needs a hug. Because that brother's sad. Trust me. I meet these brothers all the time. They're worn out. They're worn out. These dudes are barely 40 years old and they're worn out. These dudes are 40, 41, 42, 43, and they're worn out. I look and I see it in their face. Their eyes, man, their eyes don't lie. You can just see the hurt. You know? And it's like, how do you address that? How do you address another man's hurt? You can see he's hurting, but even when you try to break the ice, the most polite ways, you might set somebody off. So it's like you you're always in this, you're always in this funny scenario when you're a black man because you're always attempting to make it better or to do what you can to make it better. and it's always unfortunate. It's always unfortunate. It's always going to be that way. Um, I've been through some stuff that is, when I say what I went through with my son's mother, I've known many men to have been broken from these kind of. I have known many men to have been broken in these kind of situations, and I'm not broken. I'm not done. You know, so hurt maybe. Yeah, that's fair. Hurt is a fair term to use, and it encompasses the circumstances. Um, but am I so demoralized that I don't get up and function and don't commingle with people and you know it's hard to recover from loving some Tammy Browser. Let me go ahead and say this right here because I haven't yet to say this on this entire broadcast. When I say, and I still love my son's mom in my own way. I'm just not in love. And I hate her too. It's like a real love-hate relationship. But it's like I can understand how a man could never come back from it. It's easy. It's really easy. It's really easy. It's really easy. It's actually quite simple. Uh, when you love somebody, and I mean truly love them, and then once again, this is why you have all these men who accuse women of not loving, or at least just not loving on the level that a man will love, on this truly unconditional term, because it's like there's no way a person can never know what you'll do. I'm saying a person will never you like men get broken in the craziest ways. You know, some guys get broken through acts of infidelity. Some men get broken through the woman spending all of his money. Uh, uh, there's a couple other situations I'll leave off the table for right now, but we'll hang with those. And once again, as a man, this is coming from a young man's perspective, uh, but nonetheless, a man still. Uh, I can only say that when you are in love with somebody and then something happens that either makes you view them differently or view the situation differently, the healing process that has to take place has to be a complete one. And there has to be room to grieve. Uh, the way I explain a broken heart, this is the best way I understand it is that it's much like when somebody dies, like when your heart gets broken, it's just like they died, like it's like you lost somebody, you know what I mean? And that feeling of like it'll never be the same again. It's like that feeling is so powerful. But it's really like losing somebody, you know, and that affects you. That affects you because you have to continue to wake up every day. You have to continue to be compassionate towards people every day, understanding. You have to lead by example still as a man, that is. And that's not always easy. That's not always a task or a feat that's easily done. Um, it's really simple to say the best way to fix it is for black men and black women just to get back together. But that's not how you fix this. You know, we fix it first by once again acknowledging what kind of black people we are. What the hell is this guy talking about? Who is this? Does anybody know who this guy is? Who is this guy, y'all? Who is this guy? This is crazy. And sister, how can you recover from loving somebody? How do you recover from that, huh? How do you recover from that? How do you what kind of comeback can you make? There is no comeback from that. You get what I'm saying? That's why it takes the Most High to heal us and to do what He has to do, because only He can do it. It's amazing. It's amazing. It is scary at the same time, but it's amazing. You know, that's what's so excellent about the Most High is that He does what He does. So just like this feller who just showed up, right? And now he's out of here. He left. But like, who are these guys? You see what I'm saying? That goes back into that shit I was talking about earlier, like, how I know I have like view suppression and stuff like that. Like, who the fuck is this guy to show up out of nowhere and do some weirdo shit like that? But anyway, that's the devil. So that's his new name. The ultimate warrior is now the devil because only the devil does that. However, however, who comes back from losing both their legs? You know what I mean? Who comes back from losing both their arms? You know? I love it. Ignore these guys. Yeah, they're trolls. Yeah, they're trolls, and they're professional trolls. I guess the conversational topic got too heavy for YouTube. They didn't like it. However, if you lose your legs or your arms, but if you become an amputee, you're never the same. You can't be. It's impossible. You see what I'm saying? You're not the same person anymore. And and what the blessing is, what the blessing is just the fact that the amputee, at least when they've learned to live without, they've learned to live without, and they've learned to find contentness and happiness in other areas. And don't think that they don't look down at their arm or look down at their legs and say, damn, damn, I wonder what it would be if I could still walk. I, sister, my heart and my soul goes out to you, trust me, because I know exactly. Yeah, I know how that feels. I'm just, once again, these days I'm just a lowly servant, you know, just a lowly servant. And as painful as this stuff has been, you know, I I'm not sure I would have it any other way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure I would have it any other way. I'm not sure if I would change anything in my life. Sometimes I say I would change my son's mother, but that's just being spiteful and hateful after the fact. But I'm not sure what I would change. I don't know if there's anything that I can understand anymore. And right on, so-called Hulk Hogan. I'm going to preach the word, boss. The Most High is the path to righteousness, nothing else. However, his laws being him, his ordinance being him, are the path to righteousness. However, we are on a rickety boat. We are on a rickety boat in the middle of turbulent waters. And we have people going overboard, it seems, every moment. It's a blessing. You see, it's a blessing. Everything that we've been through, as much as it hurts, it's still a blessing. It's still a wonder to how we do what we do. Yeah, that's right. You know, you're so funny. Oh no, we're on topic. I'm on topic. Trust me. I ain't not even worried about these chuckleheads. But it really is I don't know. You must find some level of being content. We know you're not scared, Hulk. Now calm down, because I'm doing something here, boss. Talking to my people right now, and that's just the way it is. We can come with the old school level of you win some, you lose some. Hopefully, you learn some, or we can just be more honest with ourselves and say, you know what? I am I am tired of giving in to the weakest demands of the least common denominator for the sake of wickedness. People have to say that. And when I say what I'm saying, like the least common denominator among the black man, see, it's not the black man who I laugh when they throw out the whole Pookie and Ray Ray thing as like they're like the least common denominator. But there's not more so-called hood niggas than guys who work regular jobs. That's a false mis that couldn't be further from the truth. That couldn't be further from the truth. If living in a bad environment makes you a Pookie or a Ray Ray just because where you live, then so be it. I guess that's the case. But when I think of Pookies and Ray Rays, all the kind of sorry ass dudes like that, and all the Laquans of the world, those guys, you see, I'm not talking to them. This message ain't for them because they're a minority amongst the majority who's able to have their voices heard through the majority who rules over all, who is the black woman, the matriarch. And because her closest lover is normally a man who has very little coup, very little understanding, and has no love for the Most High whatsoever, we're going to always be in these kind of situations as long as we're in this country. I could make as much sense as I want to right now. Doesn't matter. I get to talk to regular people all the time. And ain't no number of internet views ever going to mess with it. Couldn't even get close to the number of lives I've affected. You know, when I say thousands and thousands and thousands of people, I've been able to have an impact on thousands, and that is not a joke. You know, and most of them are not black. I don't go around preaching the word to those people, but I let them know what's up. Because you have to reach out to folks. Because the more people you reach out to, maybe one day you hear something you've been saying work its way back around. You know what I'm saying? It's it's just unfortunate that we are in a situation that black men and black women, once again, they don't even feel the need to have to work out amongst themselves. Who are we really? What kind of black person am I? Am I really an aboriginal? Am I really one of these straight-haired natives? You understand what I'm talking about? Am I one of these imposter? I'm 27. I started when I was 16. I've been selling hot dogs off and on for the last 11 years. You know, um, I mean, but who do you blame though? Do you blame us for not knowing who we are? Do you blame white people for stealing our culture, our identity, taking it from us? You know, uh, do you do you do you blame the unwillingness of people to change on the environment? Dealt with a lot of people, sister. When I say off and on for 11 years, I've been doing this, and that's just what it is. You know, that's just what it is. I appreciate y'all. You know, it's just like um, whoever these nondescript characters are, right? We have to accept that they're here and appreciate it. Because for whatever reason, they feel that what's being said right now, they'd rather listen to it. Why that is so amazing to me, because I never see guys like this show up and other live streams that I might go and watch every once in a while. I never see guys like this. So I take this as this is a sign of accomplishment, you know, that for the last 5 streams in a row, I've had somebody show up who is not uh, anywhere close to affiliate of anyone, from my understanding, and 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 come and be here because they have to listen to it. They have to hear it. Everything I'm saying, they can't ignore unless they have it on mute. But then how would they know anything I'm talking about? It's just like it would be pointless to sit there with the screen on mute like I have it, and then just for them to be typing. It just That's asinine. That makes no sense whatsoever. What's more logical, what makes more sense is that these are people who want to listen, who don't have the intestinal fortitude with the regular cabal of characters that they're around to listen to me all by themselves. So, for the sake of being a troll or whatever you want to call that, they come and they do things like this, but they've heard all the information that I've laid out since they've been there. They have gained nothing less than you have. So when we speak on relationships and race and stuff like that, this is why you got to talk about it. This is why you have to be so willing. You see what I'm saying? You have to be you have to be all about whatever it is you say the message is. Whatever you say your stance is, that has to be what you do. There's a level of misunderstanding and there's a level of understanding that is going to be leveled and levied into any situation. Um, I don't know. I'm uh, I'm just tired of people not doing what they're supposed to do. I'm tired of people looking for excuses for why they do all the evil things that they do. Tired of people trying to find reasons to blame everyone but themselves. You will never hear me as a black man blame black woman for why I don't have anything. And I've dealt with a lot of black women. So when dudes say whatever, please, you know what I'm saying? Please, 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 please. I don't have the inclination, nor do I have the mind to want to blame y'all for everything I'm going through. Not that I don't love y'all like that, but look, you are not that damn cool, black woman. You're not that cool that I'm gonna blame everything on you. The devil's not that cool. Even that nigga only gets so much credit in my book. I blame myself before I blame him. I'm trying to tell y'all, this is how we have to be. If there is not a strict level of self accountability, we're never going to get to that level, ever. The level of accountability comes with knowing that you should pray. You should seek the Most High earnestly. You should want to talk to Him, and it shouldn't take a knucklehead like me telling you that. It shouldn't take a guy like me basing out what is scientifically logical from words in the Scripture for you to believe that the Word is stronger than any scientific formula that you'll ever read. It shouldn't take that. You know, I made spiritual gumbos well over a year ago, talking about the walls of Jericho and how they came down. You guys know how many spiritual gumbos I did explaining specific situations that nobody watched, nobody viewed? They're not going to go back and view them either. So when I say what I'm saying about you having to be on it, I've learned that it's just a constant game of repetition. And when I can't stand to repeat myself anymore, stand back, take a deep breath, breathe, and then go back at it. And then see if I can't do something different. It's not I don't know. It's not for me, and it's not for you. It's for everybody to be better. And this is a part of being better. It's not just for you just have to be better people. That's the bottom line. And not just to ourselves, but to one another. We have to be better in the sense that we can't be afraid to stand up for ourselves. You can't. You cannot be afraid to speak up for yourself. You can't. We are slaves in this land. Slaves without chains. Free range slaves, as a older brother of mine likes to put. Because we are. We are free range slaves. I accept it. But in my free range slavery, I've learned two things. The first of which is that they're never going to let us go, and they don't plan on letting us go. So the more I talk about something like the abomination of amalgamation of the mulatto, the more I bring things like that to the forefront, the more we're going to see cats like Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan showing up. Um, the more I drive home the fact that we are responsible for why we're here, it's going to get even more crazy. You know, if they only knew what I felt about Kanye West's remarks about black people choosing slavery, man, if they only knew. If they only knew. People have no idea. I don't see, once again, if you make decisions that ultimately have a consequence, you chose that. I don't care what they say. You chose that. If it had a, everything we do has a consequence. So if the consequence had negative implications, and you did so anyway, Well, it says that you don't care. You don't give a damn. You can't. You must not. You know. As I get ready to wrap it all up and give y'all a few more minutes, I just wonder, when are my people, when are you, my people, going to accept that it's going to take everybody who is supposed to be the people to save us? The Most High didn't tell Moses that he had mercy for thousands and thousands of saints because he only wanted a couple hundred people to pray to him with all their hearts, minds, and soul. No, he wants those thousands and thousands who are all scattered about the world to speak up and to speak up on their own behalf. To speak up and say, Father, we are tired of whatever this is. Wait. They're just waiting on their turn. I know they're waiting on somebody to just activate them and to make them believe. I know they're just waiting for that. But that doesn't mean that they know better just because they're waiting. You see what I'm saying? I tell y'all all the time, I don't know a damn thing. And if you think I know more than you, that means you know a lot less than me knowing who I don't know shit. I know nothing. I'm just a copycat. I'm just a good copycat. That's what I know. I know that I've copied every piece of information that's in my mind. I got it from somewhere. There's a source of information. There was a source for the information somewhere, for all of it. That is what it is. That is the truth. Y'all, riddle me this before I roll on out. Why do you think they allowed a guy like Colin Kaepernick, once again a half breed, a mulatto, to be the face of criminality and mistreatment of black men by racist, evil cops? Why'd they pick him of all people? Why? But once again, these are hella important things to wonder and to think about. People be like, oh, he's the first one to take a knee. Look, he wasn't black to nobody until that shit happened. Right. Until that happened, he wasn't black. Nobody even knew he was even half black. People thought he was Mexican or something like that. So I always laughed at dudes like him. Because he didn't want to be black until then. Until it was popular to be black, did he want to be black. And he's still not black. He's still a fucking mixed breed mulatto, an abomination. However, my people, I'm not going to leave on a negative note like that. No, nay. Leaving on a much more higher spiritual note than that. We do have a chance. Our chances in Operation Longshot. That is the chance, the operation, the long shot. You are gambling on ass, my friends. And if you did not know that, now you know. So as I say what I'm saying, if you don't take into consideration, if you don't take this seriously and really keep it close to your heart and protect your heart with it, You're gonna be in some bad situations. It's not just about separating yourself from people. It's about not dealing with people who don't who don't want to do what it is that you're doing. You can't be around nobody. I wouldn't deal with nobody who don't want to hear about the Most High. I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't deal with them at all because what happens is you're going to always have some kind of conflict of interest. They believe in making women be prostitutes. You don't. They believe in stealing and thieving. You don't. They believe in raping and murdering. You don't. See what I'm saying? Until there's a level of this, we're never going to get anywhere. Ever. We're never going to get anywhere. It'll never happen like that. But we have a chance. We are gambling on ass for this long shot to kick in. The long shot doesn't kick in. Y'all do understand that there are little different pieces and parts of the prophecies that they actually, if you read it closely, there's different things that can happen if you pay attention. The prophecies aren't etched in stone like these things that, for example, the Most High wouldn't have it written in about the Gentiles giving back or recovering to the people everything, right? And restoring to the people what is theirs, if that wasn't a possibility. But because it's a sliver of a chance, the speech of destruction and death thereof is the only speech that the Most High can render as effective speech. Saying that, okay, well, if you don't believe me, eventually I'm going to come here and wipe out pretty much all the earth. And if, I don't know, the days weren't shortened, that there'd be no flesh saved, well, let's say that the days aren't shortened. And there is no flesh, there's no one saved like that. That means that it's going to just jump off, he's going to kill everything, and then he's going to judge everything. That's one happening. The other happening, once again, the sliver of a chance, and we know they're not going to do it, is to give us back everything that they owe to us and then to move on. That's not going to happen. So we don't want the first one to happen, where they get everybody to amalgamate together and then the Most High has to come back and totally destroy everything and everyone. The one that we're forced to look forward to is the one where they do all these things, trying to make themselves seem so intelligent and so important that they accidentally cause for people who have soul constitution, who have genetic composition that is different from everyone else, to speak on a frequency, to speak through a frequency, a bandwidth, if you will, that will reach out and ring the telephone of the Most High. And that, my friends, is what we're looking forward to. That is the long shot. Operation Long Shot is just that. These guys are so sure that this, and this is going to happen. These guys are working to make sure these prophecies don't happen. That's why the Most High had to cover the other end of that. Was if all the flesh ends up getting tainted and corrupted, then it's going to come back and just destroy everything. When I say tainted and corrupted, I mean no. All these people, everybody's mixed. Everybody's mixed, and they even look it. Not just have whatever in their blood, they actually look like it. Y'all, you all, my people who are still here, I thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you so much, so much. I love you. I really do from the depths of my soul. I do love you. You know, I pray that the Most High deliver unto us all the things that we need and take from all the things that we don't. With that said, hallelujah. You guys have a blessed week. May you guys be able to tolerate what you're going through, and may everything work out right now.